of the things you notice when you have a baby in the home is how much the baby is comforted when mum is in the room. I mean, Gran brings comfort, and aunts and uncles bring comfort, dad brings comfort, granddad brings comfort, but nothing brings comfort quite like mum. Now, last week we thought about the shepherds of Israel who had led God's people astray. Well, today we'll continue with the shepherd imagery, with Zechariah describing God as the shepherd of his people. However, unlike a mother who brings comfort to her baby, God departs from his people and so removes the comfort that he offers. Zechariah 11, verse 4. This is what the Lord my God says. Shepherd the flock marked for slaughter. Their buyers slaughter them and go unpunished. Those who sell them say, praise the Lord, I am rich. Their own shepherds do not spare them. See, what Zechariah describes is what took place prior to God's people going into exile. Their leaders, their shepherds were only interested in themselves, and the people of God were no better. And so God judged them. Zechariah 11 verse 6. I will no longer have pity on the people of the land, declares the Lord. I will give everyone into the hands of their neighbours and their king. They will devastate the land, and I will not rescue anyone from their hands. So I shepherded the flock marked for slaughter, particularly the oppressed of the flock. Then I took 2 staffs and called one Favour and the other Union, and I shepherded the flock. In 1 month I got rid of 3 shepherds. The flock detested me, and I grew weary of them and said, I will not be your shepherd. Let the dying die and the perishing perish. Let those who are left eat one another's flesh. Then I took my staff called Favour and broke it, revoking the covenant I had made with all the nations. It was revoked on that day, and so the oppressed of the flock who were watching me knew it was the word of the Lord. Okay, so God removed his favour from his people and turned away from them as their shepherd, and they suffered. Some died, and the rest were sent into exile. Zechariah 11 verse 12. I told them, if you think it best, give me my pay, but if not, keep it. So they paid me 30 pieces of silver, and the Lord said to me, throw it to the potter, the handsome price at which they valued me. So I took the 30 pieces of silver and threw them to the potter at the house of the Lord. Then I broke my second staff called Union, breaking the family bond between Judah and Israel. When we look at this in our sermons, I'll talk about the 30 pieces of silver and the idea that it is really a pathetic amount when you realise that it's meant to be paid to God himself. However, what I want you to notice today is the 2 staffs that are broken by God. The first staff that was broken was called Favour, and it symbolised the covenant that God made with his people. The second staff that was broken was called Union, and it symbolised the connection between Israel and Judah. And so what we're seeing here in Zechariah 11 is something that has already taken place, which was not that God broke his covenant with his people, because the character of God is such that he doesn't break his promises. Instead, God breaks the first staff to indicate that the covenant is broken because his people broke it. He breaks the second staff to indicate that the broken covenant has resulted in a fractured relationship among the people of God. And so, friends, like a mother and her baby, Jesus has brought us into the arms of God, and there we find comfort. However, there is still a responsibility on us to live godly lives that honour the sacrifice that Jesus made. And so with that in mind, take a minute to consider how you find comfort in God, and then pray and ask God to help you to remain close to him.